Hello my acquaintances. I don't know if you can hear me from all the way over there, but I have to position the camera in a certain way or else you cannot see me. So you choose one or the other. But today is the first video officially of the Wake and Bake series. This is kind of like more like cooking, but it's actually more like baking in my opinion. So you don't need many tools. Really, you need like 4 tools max. You're gonna need a spatula. I prefer the rubber or the silicone ones because they don't scrape up the bottom of the pan, which lifts the non-stick stuff. A grater. This little spoon. And this is my apron. Very cool apron, you may ask. Yeah, I made it and you can commission me for one. Over here I have begun to collect the necessary materials. So we have bowl. I'm actually going to need a separate little bowl. Some salt. Make sure it has this little guy on it. Flour. Baking powder, which is why this is a baking, not a cook. Some measuring cups. I got this really cute little aesthetically blue set at Target for like something ridiculously cheap, like $1 something. It was less than $2, I know that. And it goes all the way up to a cup, down to a teaspoon, and it had everything in between, but I'm missing a bunch right now. And then I have just some more that I've had my entire life. So, onion, egg, and potatoes, but because those onion and egg are in the fridge. This is if you're on a time crunch. But it's very, very nice and tasty to just take an apple, peel it with a little peeler like this, then get a masher, add a little salt. It tastes so good. It's not like, it's a different taste than applesauce is, but it's so good. But I don't really feel like doing that today. Need some oil to cook it in. Alright, you want to start with a potato. Almost all recipes would call for a russet potato. I also call for a russet potato. These are the potatoes. You're also going to need a knife as a tool. Forgot to mention that. You don't need it, but it does speed up the process quite a bit. You just cut off the top before you start grating it. And then you take your other container, a little bowl like so. Pull that out of your epic apron that you can get from me. Set that right there. This is the annoying part. And you just, if you have a food processor such as a KitchenAid, it will greatly speed up this process. But we don't all have KitchenAids. We all want KitchenAids, but we don't all have KitchenAids. Alright, so I've got my onion, the next step here. And here's where my recipe starts to kind of vary from the other recipes you may find. Where I go by proportions and not actual pounds or actual measurements. This makes it a lot easier. Because you can adjust the taste based on your kind of preference, and you can also adjust for batch sizes. For one, very much like onions. So I go to about half as much onion as there is potato. A third, or even, I wouldn't recommend going a quarter. That just doesn't, that wouldn't even make any sense. Once again, you want to cut off the little thing here. Tea. Oh, I love these things. I'm going to use the smaller half so I'm not wasteful. And we're just going to go right in there. it looks a little bit something like this. And you're crying, you've probably added enough onion. Take a little bit of a washcloth. And you dump it in there in the sink and you just kind of squeeze it. You should always wash your hands before cooking. Not with this, only with this recipe, but especially with this recipe. Then you just want to, oh, you didn't even see that good action. Oh, you're seeing it, yeah, you just squeeze that out, squeeze it. So you take this, you want to use an actual cloth, washcloth, not a paper towel, because the paper towel will like disintegrate into it. Not a good look, not a good taste. And start following up with the rest of your ingredients. So, that mashed potato looking ass. I try and kind of spread it out so I can see my proportions correctly. Quarter, I would say. Quarter cup about. However, I'm not on plate by those rules, so I'm gonna fill up a quarter cup of flour. A little baking powder, literally like, you literally want to go like this. Like that, done. You can always add more salt and pepper as you're cooking it, so don't worry about it too much. And what about the salt? Salt, like that. And you want to add your egg last, because once you add the egg to this, it starts a chemical reaction, and you've got to get going. Right, let me get my spoon on the ready, on the fritz. We're gonna add this one little egg. This meal kind of encompasses the entire Seder when you really think of it. It kind of just is that way, you know. It's and it's tasty. So I might add a little bit more potato in there. Yep, see, that was it. That was it. You can smell it when it's ready. That's the one. Alright. For your oil, you want a 1/4 inch at best. You just want it so that it will be just hugging the sides a little bit. And then gas stoves, because they heat so quickly, they're really ideal for this, because you go, oh, I didn't even heat up the stove and now this stuff is ready to go, like right now. Oh, I love that smell. Spoons full, that's what I go by. I'm gonna heat it up a little bit. Too much heat. Oh, that is not nearly enough heat. But it's okay, because it gives me a chance to show you the shaping process. So you plot 1, 2, 3, and 4 right on there. Then put this to the side. Make sure that burner's not on before you do that. Take out your spatula. You kind of flatten it out a little bit. You ought to do this with a spoon actually, but flatten it out a little bit. Make sure you've got the sides. They don't look perfect. You can't make a perfect circle. That's just not what it's about, okay? It's about what it represents, okay? See it starting to fry up the sides. Right. cannot flip this too early or it's gonna go haywire. So you want to really just make sure. It takes about 4 minutes, I would say. And then you just get back on it. Alright, once you can pick it up like this, you know it's ready on the one side. If it's anything less than solid, do not try and flip it. Just don't. It's a little bit light golden brown, that's how I like mine. You can make them darker. They do get darker as they cool off as well, so keep that into account. But that's about the color that I like to make mine, but it is all up to preference. This side is cooking, and I may flip it over one more time because I do like it but I think it has a little bit of spots on there that it could go in for like 30 more seconds. So for your plate, you want to lay a bed of salt and pepper on your plate before you lay it down, as well as on top of them, so that they have a nice, they just soak up all the flavor, right? Because oh, that's too much. You don't want to make them too thick. You want to make them just as thick as your layer of oil is, or else the sides will not get cooked. And, you know, that's not good to eat raw things like that. So, as it's getting all done here, I'm going to slip it around the thing. Very cool. And plop her down just like that. Okay, well, I was going to flip it, be really cool about it, but we're just going to lay it like that, and there you have it. And then you can just do the rest of the batch the same way. Very cool.